Hello and welcome back to another episode of the SuperCoach Corner podcast. And joining me today is Tyson. Tice, good to have you here for another team preview.
Yeah, keen to get stuck into Sydney here, Das. Bit of relevance here still. Maybe not as much as the other teams, but keen to get stuck in.
Yeah, nice. So am I. I think there's a few little nice points of difference here. So keen to get into them. As always, we'll get started by shouting out our socials. So if you're not following us over there, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, you name it, we've got it. Give us a follow. We do post a lot of content there. So if you're wanting anything more, yeah, go over there. And if you want any more leagues, we also have some leagues there. So we have an unlimited league and some cash leagues as well. The unlimited league code is
728323.
very good, Tice, very good. And then, yeah, some cash leagues as well with more information on our socials. So go over there, have a look. If you have any questions, just give us a message and we'll get back to you. And yeah, keen to get as many people as we can involved. But without further ado, mate, we'll get stuck into Sydney and their players this year. And starting with the rookies in defence, I think there's a really good option to start us up, Tyson. As we're recording this, Sydney played today in their unofficial practice match this afternoon. And Jai Sarong was playing in that, and I think he looked the goods. I really do. We know how good he has been playing for Box Hill over the last couple of years, being back-to-back BFL Team of the Years. Made the move across to Sydney, and if he can lock down that role, I think he's a lock on everyone's sides.
Yeah, super easy to have off that halfback. We know that halfback role is Supercoach royalty, especially for the cheap midfield, cheap rookies. So, yeah, Jai Sarong's definitely one of those at this point. If he gets a game, he's going to be playing off halfback, which is nice to see. But yeah, obviously you said played all right today, which is good to see. Yeah, nice easy lock for us there. You just lock him away, Josh
Yeah,
Long on your bench at least.
yeah, lock
Could you
him
play him on
away.
field?
Yeah, I think he could. The role's so good. He'll take a few intercept marks. I think you can expect a 60 or a 70 from him. So I'd be pretty comfortable putting him in at D6. Um, So yeah, I'd be more than happy fielding him. What about Kyle Tice? More of a younger prospect from Sydney. Anything there? You think he's a chance for a game?
Yeah, there's a lot of positive talk about Harry Kyle. He's coming in a little bit more inflated at 145k, but he's defender mid. They love his shoe, like pretty much just his kicking ability is unreal. Uh, it's probably touch and go whether he even starts in the side though. Might be a good downgrade option to look at during the year because it's probably Sarong taking the spot over Harry Kyle at this point. Um, yeah, so maybe just keep an eye on him for now. Maybe see some preseason, see if he's going to, get some games in the practice games and see if they really trial him. But nice, easy pass for now.
Yeah, I agree there. Moving on with the rookies, mate, we'll jump over into the forward line. There's not really much else there. One that, a few years ago you wouldn't really think that he'd be at this price, but Taylor Adams, Tice, was sub-affected a lot last year and just had some really bad games. Playing as that small forward, high half forward sort of role. 185k, got into a bit of controversy in the off-season, getting punched outside of a pub, but any interest there? I think he looked like he was out of favour last year, and I don't see him pushing himself back into that squad.
Yeah, and he's always going to have body issues and stuff. I'm pretty sure he had some injuries over the preseason already. I look, if he plays, he's going to play as a forward role. We know that he can be good when he gets given the midfield role, but I don't see him pushing into that midfield. So probably an easy pass on Taylor Adams.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat there. Malcolm Roses moving across from Gold Coast. He's 145k. Pretty lively small forward. We've seen the best of him. Can really hold up at AFL level. But it's about whether he can string that together and keep his spot in that Sydney side. Any interest there if he's playing round one?
Yeah, well, they picked him up for a reason. They obviously wanted a small forward, I guess. Kicked a couple of goals today, from what I've heard as well. So that's always a positive sign. He's probably going to play that small forward role, which is just something to be wary of if you do select him, but a bit of a mature age compared to a few of the other guys that we might look at as rookies. I believe he's going into his 7th year. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on, I think, that people are missing. But being a small forward, yeah, he's probably going to average that 50 to 55. So it's proceed with caution if you are going to back him in.
Yeah, I agree there. I think he's got the experience at AFL level, but I think there are some good options down forward, especially in that rookie category. So at that slightly elevated price as well, 150k, I think there's probably better options. That sort of sums up the rookies, mate. We'll jump into the mid prices. Couple guys. We'll start with SuperCoach royalty, mate. Coming off the back line is Riley Bice, 335k. He showed the best of what he can do last year. Do you think he can go back to that, or is it sort of he's a 6 round wonder?
Yeah, he definitely kicked off the season really hot. Was a great cash generator for us early. I do see it happening of him possibly pushing to be a primo price at some point. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but Isaac Heaney has come out in an interview and said that he likes what he's seeing from Riley Bice in the preseason. So that's just a massive uptick for me. But it's not enough for me to say to pick him at 335k. They've got Matt Roberts down there. Nick Blake, he's going to be the guy that gets the keys. Look, Jai Sarong's got to fit in there somewhere as well. If he's getting a game, does Riley Bice even get a game? But they just like what they see at the moment, which is why, I kind of wanted to mention him at 335k.
Yeah, I think you need to see a lot, but he did show some really good signs last year that he can definitely take it up at AFL level. So, yeah, if he gets the right role, he'd definitely be a super coach option in the future. What about, again, Tuss? He was definitely super coach relevant last year. Angus Sheldrick, a lot of people started with him, started really terribly, but then found his way back into the side of the back half and put together some really good football when he got that centre bounce role. I think he'll get squeezed out. I don't see him getting that again, but I think if he does, I still don't see him pushing at 350k. I don't see him pushing that next level.
When he had 50 to 60% CBAs, he really scored well, scoring 90s, 100s, high 80s is what we saw. And then he sort of tapered off into, 20% CBAs, might dominate the odd game here and there. He did it against Brisbane, which was the only one that was below 30% CBAs, which he scored a ton, scored 121. So he's definitely got the talent. I'm a big fan of this guy, but you need to have him locked into that role. So it's probably going to have to cause an injury with Sydney's midfield at the moment. So, it's probably too hard to pick him at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's so stacked in there that he'd definitely be there, that fifth, sixth guy that doesn't get many minutes. So I think it's an easy pass at that price. Moving into the premiums, mate, and I think Sydney are littered with options here, and starting from defence, there's a few. We'll start with probably the lesser liked of the three, but Matt Roberts, he showed that consistency was his friend last year. I didn't post any huge scores, but definitely knew how to score. He has that super coach friendly role. Likes to kick, mark, and take some kickouts here and there as well. I don't think anything will change from last year, Tice. I don't see him adding many points onto that average from last year.
Yeah, he even didn't even play the last 4 games. From memory, he fell out of favour. So, I don't see him being a great option this year. Unless you see him being the real distributor, like Nick Blakey going down or something like that. But, it's probably an easy pass on Matt Roberts.
Yeah, no, I agree there. But speaking of Nick Blakey, mate, at 548k, I really like Nick Blakey. I think he's a really good option. His bounce up halfback, when Sydney are at their best, he drives that. And Sydney weren't at their best last year, which is why he started the year pretty down. But his scores off the back half last year were huge, and he sort of drove Sydney coming back into form a little bit. I think Sydney will have a huge year this year. I think he'll drive a lot of that. So I really like it in 1.4% of teams. I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, it's a massive pod, and in the back half of last year is when Matt Roberts fell out of favour with the side. I'm pretty sure the GWS game he had someone running with him, Nick Blakey, we're talking about here. But like outside of that, with no Matt Roberts, he was just dominating. 123, 155, 128, 104, and a 115 to finish the year. I can really see Nick Blakey taking this game to the next level and being a top of the line defender. A massive point of difference at this point in time as well, only being in 1.4% of sides. So I don't hate this pick at all.
Yeah, I love it. I think the inclusion of Jason Ron can free him up a little bit. Sort of doesn't make him have to play that third tall, which he's had to at stages, and defend a little bit more. It might free him up and be able to use that run and dash that he has at halfback. So I like it. I also love his counterpart in Callum Mills, Tice, 538k. Made his return to AFL footy last year really, really nicely. Didn't get the midfield minutes that we might have maybe thinking he would, and it doesn't look like he will this year either, but he has the nice role of halfback, takes the kick-ins. He's a really clean footballer. We know what we're going to get with Callum Mills. I think the upside's definitely there, and they're just going to use him always because he's such a classy footballer. So at the moment, he's in my side. At 1.8% of teams, I really like Callum Mills.
Yeah, wow, that's a big one to have in your side. 538k is great buying for a guy that, if he plays off half back, we saw the consistency last year. But if he goes into the midfield, we know that he can dominate games, even with that 214 we saw a few years ago. Like, this guy is a gun.
Yeah.
He's a freak. Could be an absolute star of the AFL, like top end. And I think it's great buying at 538k.
Yeah.
I think it might be onto something here, Das.
Yeah, I love it. It's someone that I've had for a few weeks now, and I'm just like, even watching him today in the Pracky match, I think he looked class above. He looks so composed whenever he has the football. I just think the floor's so high with Callum Mills. The role that he's playing, he's going to get football. He's going to take kick-ins, and he just doesn't waste a disposal. So, here's someone that I'm super, super hot on. But enough of their defence. We'll move into the midfield where they are even littered with more talent through there. So we'll start from the bottom. I mean, row bottom, Tice, is there any interest there?
Nah, not on row bottom. He's just going to be someone that plots along in their midfield, maybe be the fourth, fifth rotation, just do his job. Easy pass on row bottom from a Supercoach point of view.
That's nice. No, I'm in the same boat there. The next one here is someone that I'm not going to lie has actually been an iteration of my squad. He made it in for a short period, maybe 1 or 2 hours, but he did make it in just because the upside is so high. He's at 504k. It's Chad Warner. The role has been the question mark in years gone by. We don't want him playing forward, but Dean Cox has said that he'll be a 70% midfielder this year, and that's where they want him. If he's playing 70% midfield at 500k, I think that's good buying. But the role is always going to be something hanging over his head.
Yeah, and this guy can tear games apart for sure. He's definitely got the talent there. 70% CBAs is gold. Wow, that's really, really good. If Dean Cox is coming out and saying that, it could be someone that I need to look into as well. I do have his teammate who we'll get to in a second, but Chad Warner, far out. That could be a genuine option.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, maybe another. I said that the roles, the cloud hanging over his head. The other thing might be the fact that he's got so many stars around him. So it's hard for him to dominate every single game when he's got the likes of the next two guys we'll get to. I'll start with Errol Goulden-Tice, a very popular pick at 31% of teams, and did himself no disfavours, today. In that Pracky match, he just looked at goods, delivering the ball down Charlie Cano's throat all day. He is getting himself around the ball, and I didn't like the pick at first. But now I'm sort of coming around to it. I think if Errol gets his hands on the ball enough, he's going to score really, really well.
With my question to you is, with a full side, where does he play? Does he play on the wing or does he play in the midfield?
I think he plays in the midfield. I think his best position is in the midfield, and he gives the most to Sydney in the midfield.
If he's
my gut
playing,
feel.
If he's playing full midfield, then I am more inclined on the pick. I just can't buy a wingman for that price. I know he's so good and just dominates games. He's just going to lace out Charlie Curnow non-stop. It's just going to be Goulden assist, Charlie Curnow goal. Like just streaming out of packs, whatever. It doesn't matter on the wing. But I can't buy the wing role. I know that Sydney love to use that wing with Goulden because they want to get the ball into his hands as much as they can. But yeah, I just can't sell myself into buying him just yet. I know he was so good today, racked up 28 disposals, and just was so clean from all reports. I think I'm still on the fade on Errol Goulden at the moment.
Okay. Well, I still am just, but I could be tempted, and I definitely have been tempted by his teammate in Isaac Heaney. He's not in my side at the moment, but I love him. I love him at 593k. I think the inclusion of Charlie Curnow does him huge favours. I think he won't be as relied upon to go up forward and sort of pinch it up forward and kick goals for them when they need them. They've already got that big body and that big star down there. I think they'll use his powers in the midfield, which is what you want, Supercoach wise.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I was going to say is Charlie Curnow coming in just helps his less forward rotation, I guess. But that's what everyone was worried for with Heaney. If he went forward, he'd still dominate as well. He's just that good. I absolutely love Heaney. I'm so sold on him that he's in my side. That's why I kind of don't want to go Goulden as well, is the
Yeah.
fact that I don't want to pick up two of them for that buy. But if Heaney went forward a lot, why is he not pickable as a forward? That's just my question to everyone. Like it's you go through his CBA numbers last year, he averaged, I think it was 80% for the year or 75%, which just screams that he is a solidified midfielder and, not even going to drift forward. And now that Charlie Curnow's there, it's less likely for him to drift forward. With a lot of people saying Sydney are going to bounce back, which I am definitely hot on them being top four, which we'll get to. But Heaney is going to be one that just benefits from that. That means more scoring for them because they're going to be winning games. Yeah, he's going to dominate. I'm almost locked into Heaney being up there as one of the top 10 mids.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a great pick. And like you said, the improver of Sydney, I think, will definitely help him. So, another 600k, I think it's good buying as well. Is sort of a bit discounted compared to the other stars that I think he's sort of competing with that upper echelon of midfielders. So I really like the Henny pick, and again, I think I do favour it a little bit over Goulden just because of Goulden's so good, but like people forget how good Heaney is, and I think he flies under the radar a little bit about how classy he is and how good he is at pretty much everything. So yeah, he's going to be involved in the game. So I do love that pick, and maybe I've talked myself back into him. Who knows? But we move to the ruck line, Tice, where there is question marks everywhere. We speak about it almost every episode. Brodie Grundy, I don't. He seems to be one of the guys that I feel like I can trust more, but I don't know really. Where do you sit with it?
Yeah, I trust Grundy one of the most. I reckon he finishes the year R1, R2, somewhere around that. He showed his best at the back end of last year, which is just huge. And I don't think the ruck rules are going to hinder him at all. If anything, he's just going to sit around that price, or maybe even benefit him if he can just sit behind the play, just take contested marks. Yeah, Grundy's an on baller. He racked up what was it, like 30 disposals in a game as well. Yeah, I really like the Grundy pick. It's just a lot to pay for at 677k, and I'm already sold on Heaney, which I just said. So I don't want to start two Sydney premiums at this point. So that's why I'm currently fading Grundy, but I'm looking to get him in my side if I'm only starting with one premium ruck.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I think there's so many question marks around the ruck space at the moment. I'm struggling to pay up that much for someone when I'm not certain about where they'll land. So that's probably where I'm thinking. But I still want to watch like the official practice matches and see how it all turns out Supercoach wise before I make my final decision there. And in terms of last player task, he played his first game in Sydney colours and hit the ground running. He kicked 4 goals on his debut today. Charlie Curnow, heavily discounted after his off year last year, 377k. Is it a sneaky little pick? He's in 10% of teams, which actually shocks me. Could he push it back up to 500k and make yourself a little bit of money? Will he finish as a top 10 forward? What do you think?
Well, if you really believe that Sydney are going to be a top side, like I do, there's no reason why he can't. He's going to be all all play is going to go through Charlie Curnow. We've seen what they've done with the big forwards that they've had in previous years, like Buddy Franklin. They just, everything goes through them. And when you've got the likes of Goulden kicking it down your throat as well, like, or Heaney or Chad, who's just going to burst from a pack and lace him out, like it's so exciting to watch Sydney footy. I'm going to be very excited to watch it. But 377k, yeah, like he's probably a mid-pricer, not a premium, to be honest.
Yeah.
I could convince myself around this pick.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I can't. I'm not huge on key forwards, and even big key forwards who have done really well in Supercoach in years gone by, and have been top 6, top 8 forwards by the end of the year. They're always the guys you pick up at the end, and you never really pick them at the start of the year. Like Jesse Harrigan did it a couple of years ago. You never would have picked that at the start of the year. Like Sam Darcy was up there last year. You probably wouldn't have started with him. I think it's hard to pick the guy who's going to have a consistent year in terms of key forwards. And look, Charlie Cano's done it before, and the price is really, really nice. But like you need everything to go right for a key forward to be really, really Supercoach relevant. So that's why I am sort of steering clear of Charlie Cano.
Yeah, I like it as well. But I see the same view as, yeah, pick the guy that's probably got more a solidified role. But yeah, he's at Sydney now, not Carlton. Going to probably a better side, better midfield going through. And at the back end of the year, he's got a pretty favourable draw. It really depends where St Kilda and Port Adelaide sit, but their last 4 games, which is Supercoach Classic finals for leagues, is St Kilda, Port Adelaide, Essendon, and North.
Yeah.
So if you want to try and pick up a key forward to really give you those spike scores at the back end of the year, I know it's ages away, but Charlie Curnow could be your guy then, especially when he's coming off a run of Brisbane, Bulldogs, Freo, Adelaide, and GWS. He's probably going to be discounted at that point. So I think it's easy to not. It's probably easier and safer to not start Charlie Curnow, but I can't really knock anyone for backing that in.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I think it's not going to hurt you just to sit and wait and see if you can, if he's the real deal or if you can get him at a better price. Not saying this is a great price, but yeah. But you talked about the end fixture ties. What about the start? How have they got? What have they got in the first games?
Yeah, opening round, they've got Carlton. I don't see Carlton doing too much this year, so it's a little bit annoying that it's not for a Supercoach Classic game, because obviously opening round doesn't count. They then have Brisbane and Hawthorn, which is going to be tough before their bye. But then it's West Coast and then Gold Coast, GWS, Bulldogs. So they've got some teams that are going to be fighting for finals before they hit some lesser teams in Melbourne and North Melbourne. But yeah, it's touch and go on that one. Couple of tough games before their bye is what's also steering me away from picking too many Sydney guys.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of a tough ride, but like we both mentioned, I think they're going to have a big year. So I'd like to see them bounce back. Where do you see them finishing at the end of the year?
I've got them locked in the top 4, I reckon. I see them really taking this year. Just people counted them out. They lost too many games only just last year. I feel like people are just writing them off a little bit quicker. Like people are hot on them because of Charlie Curnow, but not as hot as what they should be, I find.
Yeah, I think they took a bit of adjusting to a new coach and a new system last year. So they started the year pretty slow, but you saw towards the back half of last year, they took up the good sides and it looked like they're sort of back to their best. Like you said, adding Charlie Curnow only makes them even better. I'm with you. I see them in the top 4, and I don't think that changes. I think they're challenged for a flag this year. I'll be keen to see it. So, but that sums us up, mate. Another team preview done and dusted. Only a couple to go more. Only a couple more to go now. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But until next time, thank you, Dice.
Yeah, thanks, Das, and we'll get on to the final 2.
That's good. Thanks, mate.